Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Are we having a good summit?
That was lukewarm.
It's wonderful to be with you here today, and wonderful to have you on, Toto and Don. And I'm hoping that our discussion today will really distill strategy, leadership, and storytelling across tech and sport. So let's jump right into it.
Cool.
So what does brand velocity mean in your worlds, and how do you measure it?
Well, good afternoon, first of all, everyone. It's great to be here. It's been a while that I was in Lisbon, and then sitting here on stage with Dom and telling our story is a super opportunity. Velocity. Our sport is all about velocity. What we say is the stopwatch never lies, and whatever we do is with the aim of being the fastest. And the same obviously applies to our brand, the Mercedes brand, and the partnerships that we have with our team. So how do we measure it? I think the usual metrics that everybody knows, obviously, but it is also the enhancement of the brand due to the emotion of sports. Nothing can take away the ups and downs of live sports. Where else do you have a situation where grown-up men can hug each other in defeat and in success? We've had the defeat in Abu Dhabi 21, that was bad, but we've also had a lot of success. So I think the emotions that a sports team creates, in particular in Formula One, the link to high tech, because what we stand for is innovation and technology, is something that we'd like to transcend and to showcase with Snapdragon, with Qualcomm, with our partners out there. Does this make sense, what I said?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I think our challenge has been to match our brand velocity growth with the velocity of Formula One and the velocity of our technology. Our technology moves really fast. Snapdragon processors are super fast. Formula One drivers like to go fast. And the Mercedes team is super fast. So we had a really great foundation to work with. But we've been committed to this journey for Snapdragon to really build brand velocity by connecting our technology to what it enables people to do and how they experience it through their passions. And that's the whole reason why we've done partnerships like the one with Toto and the team, is because we found it a really rich ground for us to actually tell our story and to make it matter to people. We always start out with audience, and then we add context and relevance, and then that, we believe, issues resonance, and resonance turns into action. So, and we believe this partnership is a great platform to do that. So we're super happy with what we've done so far and what we have yet to do.
That actually cues up my next question perfectly. For you, Don, Qualcomm works in deeply technical domains. How do you translate complex innovation into stories that feel human and emotional? Yeah,
I mean, I may have just kind of answered it, but to dive deeper into it is really about, I'm not an engineer, right? I'm a classically trained marketer by trade, but I work with a lot of engineers and a lot of inventors who are super smart, and oftentimes I get lost in roadmaps and things like that. So how do you take something that's very complex and make it sort of understandable for people, and then make it matter to them? And like I said, we've sort of figured out this recipe where if we can put our technology in the context of what it enables people to do. So Snapdragon processors sit inside of phones and PCs and watches and earbuds and glasses and cars. And so when you experience those devices or those digital experiences, we make it better. Like, we make your pictures better, we make your music sound better, we make your driving experience better, we make your Meta Ray-Bans do what they can do. You take our chip out, and it's just a pair of glasses, right? You take our chip out, right, and your phone becomes a music player without any connectivity. So we take that, and then we take those experiences, and then we connect through things that people are passionate about, whether it's sports, music, art, photography, whatever that might be. And sports, as Toto just mentioned, is a very fertile ground for that, because there's so much emotion and passion around your favorite player, your favorite driver, your favorite team. And so if we can connect all those dots for people, it enables us to tell our story, and then enables it to matter to people so they understand what Snapdragon does. And then ultimately, when they're out to buy that next device, whatever it may be, across these product categories, they ask that question, which is this powered by Snapdragon? And that's the ultimate pull that we want to create for our technology.
Toto, Formula One is inherently data-driven. How do you ensure that the Mercedes-AMG, PETRONAS brands connects through personality as much as through its performance?
Formula One is all about data. It's an engineering business with the caveat that you have a human in the car, to the great annoyance of the engineers. They say the weakness in the car sits behind the steering wheel and the engine, because you can't model it. It has good and bad days, or it's grumpy or happy, and obviously that changes everything. So my role is I'm a translator. I'm a translator between, let's say, the engineering mindset, relying on all of the various data channels that we have. And on a Formula One car, you will have about 500 sensors that provide you live information. And they need to be dissected, and they need to be analyzed in real time. And on the other side, the human in the car that will feel different. On many occasions, the driver will say the car is too stiff over the bumps. The engineers will say we don't see any of that. That the car behaves like it should behave. Or the driver will say my car oversteers, that means the rear slides. The engineer looks at the data and say the car understeers. It goes straight. So that's what makes it so interesting for me, to be able to combine these two worlds, the data, the racing. We have about 2,000 engineers that work for two cars. And on the other side, the human, the high-performance athlete that you can't replicate, that is driving this machine. So if I'm in front of a situation, which channel do I trust more, the or the human one? My response is the more expensive one.
Good answer.
The more expensive sensor.
And speaking of that, I love that response, because that cues up my next question. Where do you see storytelling and engineering intersecting most powerfully?
I think, the word storytelling sounds for me like a little bit, you're kind of making up a fairy tale. Mm-hmm. But it's obviously the common language in marketing. But I think it needs to be authentic. It needs to be authentic to what Formula One stands for. It needs to be authentic to what Mercedes stands for, what we as individuals represent. So with our partners and on the group, it all starts with the values. We are long-term people. We build strong long-term relationships. It is all about the loyalty and the integrity of a relationship, as much as it's about performing. Again, like the stopwatch never lies. And what was your question?
You were on a roll.
Yeah, no, you were hitting the nail on the
Yeah.
head. The question was, where do you see storytelling and engineering intersecting in a powerful way?
So because we need to be innovative in order to beat our competition, to leapfrog them, we need to always look after new innovation and new technology. But at the same time, we need to make it field compatible, because we are racing in 24 locations around the world. And you can only tell that story if it's real. If you're actually using the technology, if you're having the partner that is developing it further for you to optimize your performance. These are the stories that we can tell and showcase and demonstrate and say, this is what we are using the Snapdragon chip for. This is the relationship we have with Qualcomm. This is how we gain lap time, or we hope to gain lap time. And we would not partner with companies that we don't see any of that natural link, because we don't want to tell fairy tales. We tell real stories for the sake of enhancing and optimizing the car's performance.
Don, I'd love you to jump in as well.
Yeah, I think also, like Toto mentioned, like we have to align on values and what's important and what's authentic to the ethos of the team, the ethos of the Snapdragon brand, and then what we can do together. I think one of the best examples, something that I think we're really proud of, is, and something that obviously Mercedes has leaned into, F1 has leaned into, and of course Toto's better half, Susie, who's the CEO of the Academy, is we're super proud of the work that we're doing with supporting Dorian Penn, who will be the Formula One Academy champion come Vegas here in a couple weeks. So I think we're going to call it to video. We're going to show the latest example, some new content we just wrapped up with Dorian and the team to bring this idea of authentic storytelling to life and where our values align and how we push our technology and how it can promote this really, really outstanding goal of putting the first female driver into Formula One in 45 years. Take a look.
I'm working on a portrait of somebody. The most important thing to me is to understand who they really are. There's a restlessness in Dorian that catches my eye. She's driven and focused. I always look for products that are powered by Snapdragon because of the seamless workflow. I think it's fundamental to be spontaneous.
What inspires me is people that love what they're doing. They are pushing their limits even further every time. It reminds me how sport is beautiful and why I'm doing this every day.
For me, this portrait wasn't only about capturing what she looks like, but more about showing how she moves through the world. Always chasing the next turn. A portrait in motion. Sponsored by Snapdragon.
So I thought it was
cool.
a great way to tell Dorian's story.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Like I said, we're super proud of the work and the goal, right? The unified goal of putting the first female back into Formula One in 45 years. And we support Susie and Toto and the team in doing that. So it's been a pleasure to actually put this together and bring it to market.
We better deliver on that because I have a problem at home if we don't.
I'm sure you do.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Both of you lead teams shaped by competition and innovation. How do you cultivate brand culture without slowing your decision making?
You answer first, and I think.
Do you want me to answer? Okay, so the world moves at the speed of TikTok.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's very difficult to keep up. And as a marketer, it's really difficult to keep up. I don't have, I've never met a CMO who says they're over-resourced. And so, just keeping up is difficult. I think one of the things that we are like-minded with the team and the culture of Formula One is agility, number one, being able to pivot and do things quickly and turn things around. But I will have to say the introduction of new tools, technology tools, driven by AI, it has put us in a new position to move faster, to be more productive, to actually create more and deliver more out to our audiences than we've ever been able to do. Things that took weeks to do or even months are now taking minutes and hours to complete. And that is one of the benefits on the productivity efficiency side of what AI can bring to the discipline of marketing. I think we've yet to explore the other aspect of that, which is the enhanced creativity and the enhancements to the creative process that it will bring, but still being human-driven, right, but AI-powered. That's going to, I think, help me, for the first time, try to keep up at the pace of TikTok. It's not a 24-hour news cycle anymore. It's like a 2-minute news cycle. So we've got to figure out a way to keep ourselves relevant and in the minds of our audiences and customers. And I think that what we're doing with technology to help us do that is a game changer, and we're continuing to experiment with it. But it is showing an amazing breakthrough and leap forward in how we're able to deliver content, amazing storytelling to our audiences.
I'd like to use an analogy in terms of how can we deploy innovation and performance in our business whilst racing 24 times a year. And this is valid for any business, a startup or more mature business. We need to spend our time between the dance floor and the balcony. The dance floor is the daily grind. We go racing.
What's your dance of choice?
What's my day? I'm into house music.
Okay.
I did not know that about you.
So I do only little movements.
Okay, there you go, like just small.
Which is better because I was once told that my rhythm is not ideal.
No,
Yeah,
really?
you think-
Nope. I would not know that. I would think you.
I went to a dance class with Susie because we thought we should do a proper dance, at our marriage. We aborted after 2 lessons. But it was good fun. So, dance floor, balcony. We all work every day. We meet, we talk, we email, we try to solve problems on the fly. We rarely have the time, and that's needed. We rarely have the time to step on the balcony and actually look down, what is going on down there? Are we doing the right things? Are we deploying long-term views and long-term strategy in order to make the whole thing down there much better? And we all struggle to do that because you basically need to devote yourself to spend time on the balcony thinking. When are we doing this? How much do we actually think? And that is where the speed, in my opinion, the speed of an entity, of an operation, needs to meet effectiveness. These two are very, very necessary in order to create innovation, create performance, whilst having the right culture around it.
So, but tell me, how do you personally maintain that clarity of vision when the market around you is moving faster than ever?
Well, your assumption is that I maintain clarity. I think, to come back to that example, in my role, I need to travel 20 to 24 races a year. I'm constantly on the airplane. I just came back from Brazil yesterday. I come to Lisbon, which I very much enjoy. I fly to Oxford to the factory tomorrow, and then I'm on my way to Las Vegas.
Wow.
And in between, I have a free weekend where I'm going go-kart racing with an 8-year-old. So again, on a racetrack. So how to maintain clarity is really difficult in this day and age where there's such a fast pace that is necessary to keep up. And I think everybody will have their own tools and ways. Mental health is a big topic for me. How to keep sane and happy, how I structure my days, how I take time to optimize my well-being in the sense of mental and physical well-being, and that's a constant challenge. There's like not a clear plan. I stick to sleep. If I'm not having an average of 7 hours 30, that's a problem. And so I'm trying to be strict with that when I go to bed or when I wake up. When I travel to the races, wherever I am, I always eat the same things. I never experiment with local food as much as I would like to eat Chinese in Shanghai. I'm having...
Wiener Schnitzel.
Sorry?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzel. Because
I know.
you ate the
Really?
Because I eat it with you.
So I'm having Wiener Schnitzel
So good.
everywhere in the world.
So good.
And twice a day, I'm having Wiener Schnitzel and chicken, so I actually have 2 options. For lunch, a Wiener Schnitzel and a chicken, and in the evening for a chicken or Wiener Schnitzel. No alcohol, no smoking, regular workouts, which I enjoy. So that kind of becomes a rhythm, and it's the only way of, in a way, keeping as much clarity as you possibly can whilst going through the daily grind, the jet lag, and all of these things.
But also keeping you, optimized and balanced at the same time.
Yeah, this notion of optimized is a tricky one, because if we all want to be optimized, mental health is going to suffer. There is too much pressure. So you need to optimize in a way that's ideal for you. For me, for example, it's try to maintain a certain way of easiness about things. Things happen or they don't without forcing it too much. That has something that has helped me throughout my career, for example. But it is really introspecting and saying, okay, what is it that I can do to better perform and better contribute within the organization? And then making clear in what it is.
Yeah. My wife always tells me that she is an envy of my ability to compartmentalize. I have this unique ability to compartmentalize, so I can focus. And even though there's noise coming in from all different places, Toto, you experience it too, right? You got to focus on the thing that's in front of you. And I think I marry that with my team in focusing on not just activity, but how activity drives outcome, and really focus on that outcome to tie it all together. That's one way we kind of get through, and we kind of can get to that clarity of what we're trying to accomplish. So my ability to compartmentalize, as well as just focusing on outcomes, are two kind of rules of thumb that I kind of use and my team kind of uses every day so that we can actually stay clear and stay focused on because there's a lot to do, right? As Toto said, he could be, he's got to go to Vegas, he's got to be on stage, he's got all these things to do, and then there's family life, and there's kids, and there's all that kind of stuff. So it's difficult for everybody. I'm sure everybody in the audience has the same situation. So, that's the best advice I could offer.
I love that tip, though. Focus on the outcome. That's an actionable step.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what differentiates a brand that endures from one that burns out?
Ooh.
I think.
Because you have this amazing brand attached to your team, which is Mercedes. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that. Talk about a brand that's endured.
Yeah, Mercedes is among the top 10 most valuable brands in the world, and it's almost like the Holy Grail we carry. Whatever we do needs to bear in mind that we need to protect the brand, stick to our values and the values of the brand. And me representing Mercedes on its most important platform to 1.5 billion people in the world, since my early days with Mercedes, I need to think, what would Mr. Mercedes say rather than what would Toto say? And that has always helped me to stay close to the values of the brand. As I said before, I believe in long-term relationships. I believe in long-term success. That means whatever we decide with the brand, how to talk about it, how to present it, who to partner with, is with a long-term perspective. We are not in the short-term optimizing business in like a political term. What can I deliver in the next 2 years to be re-elected in 4? It is for me to give the baton to the next generation in, who knows, in 10 years, and say, I've done my part in the Mercedes motorsport history in a way for the next generation to be able to do a good job too, rather than to optimize everything for the now. And that's a balance which is not always easy to strike, because we want to do the best today, we want to win today and not after tomorrow, but we need to consider the after tomorrow. We want to optimize our partnerships, but we need to bear in mind that what does optimization mean for the partner and for Mercedes? So if it is down to a sentence, is long-term vision and sticking to it.
Yeah, Snapdragon is a teenager, right, compared to over 100-year-old brand of Mercedes. But I think one thing I add to that is that don't take yourself too seriously, right? Remain humble, have some fun. And speaking of that, I think we have a little piece of content that I want to share that we've done together that sort of exhibits that, not taking yourself too seriously, having some fun, and bringing a little bit of George Russell's personality to life. So take a look at this.
My phone's nice. I know, but actually it's really hot.
Well,
yes, it's buzzing at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, can you just pass me the phone, please? I think somebody's calling me.
Oh, I'm so sorry, mate.
Yeah,
Do you know
cheers,
what I'm
thank you.
like?
Toto, Yeah, sorry about that. My swear double was getting a bit confused. Sorry. Yeah, cheers.
Formula One drivers aren't allowed to swear. So we had a little fun, they get fined. So we had a little fun with that, and we put a swearing double in place for George so he didn't have to get fined by Formula One. But don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun, and you can bring things to life in new ways. But to Toto's point, your brand ethos, staying true to your brand ethos, staying true to what makes your brand special, and really kind of thinking about things from a longer-term perspective, all that's good. Like I said, we're a relatively young brand, but we try to stay true to those core values. And I think if you have a good North Star, you're going to do right by your brand.
We don't allow swearing of the drivers.
Yeah.
I always say, this last Grand Prix, you hear these young drivers that are saying, using the F word when it comes to, what the F did you do when the pit stop was slow? And you need to respond back. One driver said that was a really bad execution. I would have responded, well, the driving is not much better either. Then the swearing is going to stop.
Yeah. We call that whole series, by the way, What the F1. So it's really fun. George does an amazing job. He was a trooper for it.
We've got to end it there. Thank you, Toto. Thank you, Don. Thank you to everyone watching.
Thank all of you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.